협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
The number of traffic accidents caused by senior drivers, that's been on the rise. And some of these accidents can be devastating, including a fatal crash that took place right here in Busan last week. The issue of senior drivers is an increasingly pressing one here in Busan, a super age society with over 340,000 senior drivers. So the current system of encouraging seniors to turn in their driver's licenses voluntarily hasn't really worked well thus far. So it might be time to look for other solutions. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Tuesday, April 15th on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you're all doing well. And yes, the weather yesterday was quite kind of like on and off throughout the country. I hope you're all doing well. Top story today is the issue of driving safety, particularly for senior citizens. Last week, a driver in his 70s rammed his car into a sidewalk, hitting two pedestrians, one of whom passed away. The driver claims that this was a case of sudden unintended acceleration, 급발진, so that the authorities are looking into the case. But, it's very difficult to substantiate those kind of claims if we look at the past. And we have to look at the bigger picture. So the number of car accidents caused by senior drivers in Busan has been on the rise from just 1,800 in 2020 to 2,735 this past year. So this is due to a couple of reasons. First, the sheer number of senior drivers, which hit 344,000 just last month. 344,000. So on top of that, senior drivers have shown to have slower response rates in hitting the brakes in emergencies. In a consumer agency simulation, senior drivers on average responded 0.47 seconds later in hitting their brakes on the car when a car in front of them suddenly stopped. So for these reasons, different municipalities are encouraging their senior residents to voluntarily turn in their driver's licenses. Busan City, for one, offers a 100,000 won preloaded public transportation card. But this hasn't shown any dramatic results. At just over 10,000 senior citizens handing in their licenses last year. So experts say that these cash stipends may only work on seniors who don't actively actually use their driver's license. And many senior drivers need their license for work or basically just to get around. So under these circumstances, experts advise improving public transportation or expanding systems like bus on demand to areas where having a regular line wouldn't be feasible. And because we need to make the roads safer for everyone, we also need to keep these roads accessible for seniors beyond their driving age. This is an issue that is going to affect every single one of us right now. All right, time being, let's get to our text topic. We're going to talk about this. What are some must-have items at work or at home that boost your efficiency? 자, 육아, 집안일, 그리고 직장에서 업무에 꼭, 나는 이거는 꼭 필요하다. 나만의 효도 아이템. 이야기해보는데요. 여러분의 업무 효율 높여주는 혹은 기분 좋게 해주는 아이템은 뭐예요? For example, you might have like a special keyboard. 키보드 너무 요즘에 다양하고 like ergonomically good for, the positioning of your hands. Or maybe you have like a fancy chair. 어떤 분들은 진짜 너무 예쁘고 등 잘 받쳐주는 그런 의자도 쓰는 것 같고요. And then I see like some colleagues, they have like the cute humidifiers, or sometimes people decorate it as a certain color, or they have a character, because it kind of boosts their mood when you're working. Don't you think? At home as well, though. 집에서도 마찬가지잖아요. What would I do without a dishwasher? Yes, things like that. Things that really boost your efficiency. So you can send in your responses to BFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM or 부산 영어 방송 to find our channel. You can subscribe, log in, and chat with our other waivers on your phone, pound 9050 샵 9050. That's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. Same thing there. Search for BEFM or 부산 영어 방송 to find us and add us as a friend. The ways you can listen to our program: 90.5 or 103.3 FM on the radio. That's if you're in the Busan area. Like I said, we are streaming live on YouTube right now, and you can watch again at your leisure. We also have two apps, the BEFM app and also the Papang app, available for your listening pleasure. You can listen to the wa글와글 segment on the latter app. All right, it is Tuesday. So what does that mean? We have Andrew with Sports Insider, Bonnie with The Health. For our special interview today, what do we have? You may have heard about this. Meta's antitrust trial. So what is Meta? That's the company behind Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. It's a huge, huge company. Now facing a major antitrust trial in the U.S. And of course, there are separate litigation, separate lawsuits going on in other parts of the world as well. But we're going to focus on what's happening with Meta in the U.S. and what this may mean, because it's such a behemoth, a huge company. And I'll be back with today's headlines. It is now 7:07, and these are today's headlines. Yoon denies insurrection charges in first hearing. Former President Yoon Suk-yeol defended himself during his first criminal trial on insurrection charges yesterday, saying his attempt to impose martial law in December did not amount to an insurrection. Han Duck-soo vows to complete final mission amid presidential speculation. Acting President Han Duck-soo said yesterday that he will fulfill his final calling by tackling the U.S. tariff crisis, apparently dismissing rumors of a presidential bid but not denying them outright. Two Air Force unit commanders booked over accidental jet bombing. Two Air Force unit commanders have been booked in relation to an unprecedented mistaken bombing on a civilian town last month, according to the Defense Ministry interim probe results. Search ongoing for missing worker at Gwangmyeon road collapse site. The search for the worker who fell into the sinkhole at a subway construction site in Gwangmyeon City continues into the fifth day as evacuation has been ordered for nearby residents. Trump hints at further cuts for auto parts tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump said he is looking at something to help some automotive companies, addressing a question over the possibility of tariff exemptions for certain product categories. These are today's headlines. It's time for Busan Updates. We have Sue in the studio. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, let's get into your must-have items, whether it's at work or at home. Do you have any of these types of items that you can't live without?
So my number one item, you mentioned it. It's an ergonomic mouse pad for my wrist.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. So do you have
really
like carpal
important.
tunnel? Do you have like problems with your wrist?
I feel like, if I work on my computer for more than within a couple of hours, it gets stressed.
I see.
And another item is 수면 양말.
The fleece socks, the fuzzy wuzzy fleece socks. Yes.
Because my hands and feet are cold, so
I see.
they get easily cold.
So do you wear the socks almost year round? Like not only during, oh really? Like even right now? Like this kind of in
even
April?
At home though.
This story, sinkholes, and we've talked about sinkholes before, especially near the Busan subway construction site, are really raising safety alarms right now, right?
Yes, and this is happening near the construction site of Busan's Sa상-Hadan subway line, and this is causing mounting concern among residents and commuters. On April 13th, a large sinkhole measuring 5 meters wide and 5 meters deep opened on a road in Hakjangdong, and about 30 millimeters of rain was coming down that day.
Yes.
And just 90 minutes later, another sinkhole 3 meters wide and 2 meters deep appeared about 200 meters away during excavation work. And one of the sinkholes even formed in the middle of a pedestrian crosswalk.
Yes. And this is like really, really troubling and scary at the same time, heightening public anxiety. So can you tell us what the authorities have said about this particular situation?
This February, the Busan Underground Accident Investigation Committee concluded that heavy rain and poor waterproofing methods were to blame for the repeated sinkholes. The committee recommended stronger waterproofing, regular inspections, and monthly radar scans. And in response, Busan Transportation Corporation announced safety upgrades, including soil reinforcement at 1,100 sites. But new sinkholes appeared just 3 days after the plan was released, raising concerns about its effectiveness.
Yes.
And since 2023, a total of 14 sinkholes have been reported in the area, 3 in 2023, 8 in 2024, and already 3 this year.
So definitely kind of stressing everybody out, and hopefully we'll get some long-term solutions on sinkholes, not just here in Busan, but across the country, of course. Next up, let's talk about this. The city's first quarter fires increased by 15% compared to last year.
Yes, during the first quarter of this year, the city saw a total of 660 fire incidents, and this is up 15% compared to the same period last year. And Gangseok-gu district had the highest number of cases, followed by 해운대구, 부산진구, 사구 districts, and Gijanggun County.
Right, yes. And so what was the leading cause of these fires?
It was human negligence responsible for over 2/3 of the incidents.
Yes.
In particular, discarded cigarette butts were the main culprit, accounting for nearly half of those negligence-related fires.
Yes.
And fires also occurred frequently during cooking or due to careless equipment use. And with more fires came more damage. Property losses jumped to nearly 4.9 billion won, and this is more than triple last year's amount, largely due to major incidents like the Banyantree Resort construction site fire.
Yes.
And human casualties also rose, with 40 people affected. And this is an increase of 25% from last year. And officials pointed out that dry weather and low rainfall likely contributed to the spike in outdoor fires, especially those caused by cigarette butts.
Right, and I remind the listeners day in and day out, like any type of fire, whether it's negligent, by mistake, that can lead to a huge fine or even jail time. So let's please be careful of fires. Next up, Taiwan is a top country for issuing Visit Busan passes. So where are people going to? What's the top location?
So I will get to that in a second.
Okay.
Since its launch in February 2023, the number of Visit Busan Pass has been steadily increasing, and nearly 377,000 passes had been issued as of last month. And the pass is designed for foreign tourists, offering easy access to Busan's top attractions and transportation options with just one card.
Right.
And it comes in time-based versions like 1-day and 2-day passes, as well as package options that include a set number of attractions.
Yes. So now we want to know about like all the tourists and where are they going? What places do they like to visit?
Yes, Taiwanese tourists make up the majority of users, accounting for 73% of all pass holders, and visitors from Hong Kong and China follow, making up a combined 17%. And Japanese tourists account for about 3%. According to Busan city officials, the pass is especially popular among Taiwanese travelers because they tend to prefer individual travel and they like practical, cost-effective ways to explore.
Yes.
And the pass can be used at 39 affiliated attractions across the city. And among the most visited are popular sites in the 해운대구 district and Gijanggun County areas. And in the older downtown area, places like the Songdo Marine Cable Car, Songdo Yonggung Cloud Bridge, and Busan Tower are favorites. And Diamond Bay in Namgu District also made the top 10 list.
I see. So that's where the Taiwanese tourists are flocking to, apparently. Thanks for letting us know. Next up, let's talk about the 광안대교 Bridge, which will light up in purple. That's going to be on the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, right, to commemorate this.
Yes. Busan Infrastructure Corporation announced that on the 20th, 광안대교 Bridge will be illuminated in purple as part of its participation in the We the 15 campaign.
Okay.
And the lighting will take place at 8 p.m. and last for 10 minutes. So I was curious about the color purple.
Yes.
And it is associated with the day to symbolize dignity, respect, and empowerment.
Okay.
And We Are the 15% is a global human rights movement with the goal of ending discrimination and ensuring equal participation in society for the 1.2 billion people with disabilities. This is 15% of the world's population of 8 billion.
I see.
And in South Korea, landmarks such as Seoul's Namsan Tower and Lotte World Tower are also joining the campaign by displaying purple lights.
I see. So I'm glad that we are once again being involved in that as well. All right, lastly, Classic Busan has announced its 2025 ballet season lineup.
Yes. The 2025 Busan Ballet season will run from April 25th with the premiere of Dear Ballerina at the Baekyang Cultural and Arts Center. Following that, Shining Wave, which is a creative ballet piece, it will be performed at the Busan Cinema Center's Haneul Theater and Seoul Arts Center's Tower Theater in May and June. And dancers from the 2025 season Busan Opera House Ballet Company will participate in the performance, showcasing their skills in collaboration with the production team.
So tell us about the lineup.
Principal dancers, including Yoon Jeonil, Lee Yoon-soo, Jung Hae-yoon, and Park Ji-soo, will perform with seasonal members, and they have been rehearsing for 3 months. And notable figures such as ballerino Kim Hyun-woong and artistic advisor Hwang Hae-min have joined to mentor the dancers.
Yes.
And Busan native ballerina Moon Gyuri and ballerino Jung Song-bok were also newly appointed to the advisory team. And Classic Busan CEO Bang Min-jung noted that audiences can expect polished, high-quality performances from the ensemble.
Yes. So if ballet is your thing, go check this out. Thank you so much for all the updates, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Catherine.
All right, now it's back to you, the listeners. It's time for your traffic and weather. Time for your traffic report right now. It looks congested on the Dongso overpass from Hwangyong Ramp to the old Kaegum Tollgate. Also, there is some backup at Luno Samsung-daero from Myeongho intersection to Shinho Bridge. Looking slow on Chungjang-daero from pier number 4 to pier number 3. And it's also slow going on Gwanmun-daero from Pangnam Tunnel to Baekyang Tunnel. As for the weather, it's currently 6 degrees Celsius here in Busan under clear skies. The daytime high is expected to go up to 16 today. So as you can hear, there's already a big gap right there. Across the country, big temperature differences once again between the morning low and the daytime high. Light rain in the Jeonnam region forecast for this early morning. And this was your traffic and weather.
you an early bird? Are you up to date on the news? Are you a trendsetter? For all of the biggest issues from Busan to the world and useful information you need, right here on Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time, I swear, for News Digest. Guess who's here?
Morning.
It's not Haley. What is going on, girl?
업무 효율을 높여주는 hey.
Ah.
Joy brings, efficiency. Also, major shout out to the booster.
Oh,
really,
yeah. That is
physically,
absolutely
literally
necessary. 필수 아이템이에요.
Boost. All right, here we go.
네.
Okay, so I've actually, none of this is mine. So credits to our new media producer, whom I've nicked this from her desk.
Ooh,
so it's
nice.
it's a little.
You borrowed?
I borrowed.
Yes.
I'm going to give it back. And then, because, I think desk-terior is a thing. People do like to make their work surrounding pretty.
Yes.
Yeah, so people do. I mean, these are all from BFM offices.
Yes.
People have big stuffed animals. And, the flowers are from our props department.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know what, is this supposed to go on your head?
I don't
Is this like a
know.
lei? Like what is it?
Oh,
is
that's so pretty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Can you walk around like that all day?
All day long, so I
All
can be
day.
the lady with the flowers in her hair.
And you know what that means.
머리에 꽃 꽂은 분.
Look at our producer's look on her
By the way, she over there yonder, she's the one who told me to, can you
gather
bring
some
some
items?
things? And I walk in with like an armful of items and she's like, you're so embarrassing. And I'm like,
저는 그냥
excuse
우아하게
me.
demurely, no brands, coffee.
Oh,
Or
well,
actually this morning is 유자차.
my actual tem
Yes.
is this, my tumbler, my 애착 tumbler. This
Can
has
you
been
turn it
with
around
me.
so we don't
Oh
see
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
My tumbler.
Yes.
For my water needs and my coffee. Yeah. So there we go. There you have
어른은
it.
한 명이 있어야 되니까요.
I know, and as I was walking in, I could tell Kat clenching her teeth, trying not to laugh.
and
Because
not
she's
look at you.
What are you doing? Like, why do you have an armful of stuff?
Anyhow,
That's why.
Thank you. But in real life, is there anything else that you really
I'm
need?
all about good posture while I'm working. So my home office, aka our home dining room, family
Yes.
dining room table, it has like the laptop stand.
Ah.
And because once again with the booster,
Yeah.
legs not so long, they don't quite touch the floor.
Do they dangle at home too?
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay.
A little bit. So I have the step stool, 발받침대. Because,
진짜요?
having like a good angle on your knees is so important.
I used to have that for my kids.
Do you still have them?
No, they're like all taller than
okay.
me.
I was like, do you want to pass them down to me? Because I mean, obviously you're not
우리 애들
using them.
저보다 키가 큰데요?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every room has a step stool in my house.
Let's get to news because we're a news show.
We
Yes, we are. We swear. We're going to begin with the first insurrection trial for former President Yoon Suk-yeol. So we need the latest. What's going
Right.
on?
So this is the criminal trial against former President Yoon Suk-yeol
Yes.
about his insurrection charges. So Seoul Central District Court under Judge Ji Gui-yeon held the first hearings for this trial yesterday.
Yes.
Again, first criminal trial. So the prosecution side, let's get to that first. They say that Yoon decided to incite a rebellion with the intent of subverting the Constitution. The prosecution actually came quite prepared. They have a 12-person team and prepared this huge PowerPoint presentation pointing out that the defendant, whom they've decided to call Yoon Suk-yeol, call him the defendant,
Yes.
attempted to, quote, freeze the National Assembly and constitutional institutions from exercising their authority and declared extraordinary martial law across the country. And also it put its full force behind the trial with the charges and evidence. They continued to read that off for about an hour and 7 minutes.
Yes. So now we want to know, what did the president or former president say himself?
Quite a bit because, as you said, he defended himself in court. So Yoon claimed that the incident happened within just a few hours. So this actually, the time frame, seems to be the major part of his defense. And he also claimed that this took place not violently and it was dispelled after, and the wording here is quite key again, he immediately accepted the National Assembly's request to withdraw the martial law order.
I see.
Yoon also claimed that this being insurrection does not make legal sense. And he actually put forth his 26-year career as a prosecutor and asked the court to actually put up the prosecution's PowerPoint presentation again, going through it slide by slide, refuting the prosecution's statements. So he actually spoke for an hour and 20 minutes altogether. It was divided up into the morning sessions, a recess, and the afternoon sessions. Again, Yoon repeated the claims that the December 3rd martial law imposition was a peaceful one and reiterating the fact that he was trying to, or his argument that he was trying to send a message. So it was a political decision.
I see.
And said that martial law and coup or coup d'etats are completely different. Yoon also claimed that witness statements over the orders to arrest politicians, they were a blatant lie and distortions of the truth. So this wraps up, once again, day one of the insurrection trial.
Yes.
The second trial will be on April 21st, starting at 10 a.m. again.
I see, and of course, we'll report on that when it comes up. Thank you for all the details. And then there is still this bit of controversy over the whole privacy allowed by the court for the former president.
Right, so you likely notice with all the articles and headlines coming out from yesterday's trial, there weren't really many visuals in terms of photos because the court ordered there not to be any photography. The court accepted former President Yoon's request that he be allowed to appear and enter the courthouse in private, meaning using the underground parking lot as opposed to basically the perp walk, so to speak, or coming into the courthouse via public methods. That is usually not allotted for defendants in criminal cases. It also banned the press from taking photos of the president in the defendant's seats before and after the hearing. Yoon's attorney, Yoon Gak-keun, said that he agrees with the court's decision, saying that it was in consideration of human rights protection.
Yes.
However, there is controversy over the ruling because going back to precedents, former presidents Lee Myung-bak and Park Geun-hye, who also stood criminal trial, the court back then allowed for the press to take photography of these two former presidents, citing that the public's need to know supersedes these privacy issues.
Sure.
And regarding the security reasoning as to why Yoon was allowed to enter the courthouse via the underground structure, well, some pointed out that when Yoon and his wife left their residence on Friday, they did walk out in full public, shaking their hands and even embracing their supporters without security problems. So some are questioning what's the difference.
Yes. So there's a lot to unfold in terms of this trial once again. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the fact that tomorrow is actually the 11th anniversary of this Seoul ferry tragedy. And we are just getting some answers about the cause of this accident. And this is more than a decade after this tragedy, right?
Right. So, again, there are still questions that the families are demanding answers to. But we are retroactively getting reports about the Maritime Tribunal's conclusion on the cause of the accident that killed 304 people on board. So the 목포 Maritime Safety Tribunal, 목포 해양안전심판원, announced yesterday that it reached a decision on the case, and the decision was actually reached back in November of last year. So this Maritime Tribunal, they're basically courts for accidents that happen at sea.
Okay.
And their decisions, or take-or-saw, they're basically the same as a court verdict.
Okay, so to clarify, you said that the ruling was reached last November, but we're hearing about it now. What did it exactly say?
Right, so let's go through the major points.
Okay.
So the tribunal completely ruled out the cause as outside forces. So again, 외력설 완전히 폐쇄, saying that it didn't see any evidence of there being outside forces on the body or what's called the hull, 선체 of the ship. However, the sudden turn of direction that the ship experienced was apparently due to an abnormality with the steering gear, 조타기, and it agreed with the investigation from 2018 that said that the solenoid valve got stuck in the steering gear, which caused the abnormal reaction. The tribunal also explained that the stability of the ship was very low due to the higher center of gravity. So 무게중심, the center of gravity was off because the ship had gone through renovations to increase its maximum capacity. And the thing is, for these ships that have low stability, 보건성이 낮은 배, you aren't supposed to have that much cargo because once again, the center of gravity issue. but the tail ferry had twice the weight of cargo that it said it would have, or it was allowed to have via the written papers at over 2,000 tons.
Yes.
And because they weren't fixed down properly, they shifted around when the direction suddenly changed, which again threw off the center of gravity, which led to the tipping.
Yes. And so what about the rescue efforts?
Right, because fine, that could happen, but then there were still 400 people on board.
Yes.
Why do we have over 300 dead? Well, the reason behind this massive number of casualties was because the crew members did not actively engage in rescue missions. This we knew, but again confirmed via the tribunal.
Yes.
The tribunal said that the crew members and the captain didn't seek to evacuate the passengers while they themselves were rescued by the Coast Guard. The tribunal canceled the license of the captain, Lee Jun-seok, who's serving a prison sentence, along with the pilot or pilots. The court issued correctional orders, 시정명령, against the company 청해진. However, the company has appealed the case.
I see. So once again, the report came out in November, but we're just hearing about the details. So thanks for going over the details on that. Now we're going to move on and talk about the economy. We know from basically Econ 101 that with inflation, the value of money continues to decrease. But it's shocking how much 1,000 won, 1,000원, will get you these days, or more accurately, will not get you. Because everything's so expensive
Because
these
it
days.
won't. I remember when in elementary school, 1,000원 was my weekly allowance. And I felt, well, we didn't have convenience stores, but I felt rich going to the corner store. Not anymore. So what can't you get with 1,000원? Cup noodles, 컵라면, the triangular kimbap, and basically any drink. Maybe cheaper bottled water, but anything with like color, carbonation, sugar, not really. So there goes your cheap lunch option.
Right.
So according to those in the industry, the small cup noodles, 사발면 작은 cup, for many popular brands, they are now 1,100 won instead of 1,000 won.
Okay.
The triangular kimbap, 삼각김밥s, are now over 1,000 won as well. A common price being 1,200 to 1,500. The sausages on a stick or the fish sticks, 핫바, they're now around 2,000 or 2,500 won. Also, if you're looking for maybe sweet option, chocolate and chocolate cookies also saw a hike in prices because cocoa prices are continuously going up due to climate change.
Yes.
And you know the Korean expression, 껌값? 껌값이지. So it's literally the price of gum, but that's basically what we say, like pennies. Oh, that's just pennies.
Yes.
Well, 껌값, the price went over 1,000 won 2 years ago. So is it really 껌값?
Not really.
Not really.
Yes,
Not really.
yes.
Can I afford gum? Not in this economy. But here's the thing. In this economy, convenience stores are coming up with affordable options because they understand their role, that people come there because they cannot afford like a sit down, a hot meal, or they don't want to pay for it. So two top retailers, GS and CU in convenience stores, they both reported increasingly high sales of their 1,000 won or below lines.
Oh, can look forward to that.
Right.
Speaking of chocolate, a message from Melting saying, definitely, I need some chocolate between work. Oh, yeah.
Especially that like 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. block where you're just so drowsy.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all the news. We'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, we're due for our first song break. Here it is. This is 혼잣말 by Kim Jang-hoon as requested by Souvenir.
소중한 이유 흐름 속에 머물러 있다는 것 수줍게 두 손을 잡던 너와 나를 잊어도 눈물이 흐를 너인데 친구도 될 수 없는 너 둘이 되어 흘러가는 구름처럼 혼자 더 슬퍼져 죽을 만큼 힘들어 혹시나 어리석은 마음에 네 편지도 사진도 버리지 못하는 날 전하지 못한 말 혼자 되뇌며 눈물 속에 널 보냈지만 아직 내 맘속엔 하루에도 1000번씩 10,000번씩 네가 다녀가 잊어도 눈물이 흐를 너인데 눈물 속에 널 보냈지만 천 번씩 10,000번씩 네가 다녀가 잊어도 눈물이 흐를 너인데
Welcome back. 마이클님, 이거 너무 좋은데요. 물결들. Are we in Korean 물결들 waivers? I love it. I love it. So thank you for the messages that have been sent in thus far. Today we are talking about must-have items. And I know I'm supposed to be the serious one. 저는 항상 우리 PD님이 부탁해요. 우리 헤일리님은 깜찍하고 브라이트하고 귀여운 거 하고 저는 demure, 자리를 지켜달라. 하지만 필수 아이템, 저 이거를 아침에 커피 사러 가고 이거를 머리에 꼽은 줄을 모르고 커피 사러 갔는데 I won't say who, 누구라고 얘기는 안 할게요. 근데 아마 누군가는 저를 보고 깜짝 놀랐는데 아무 얘기를 안 하더라고요. So 그분한테는 thank you for not mentioning that I had this humongous hair clip in my hair. 아침에 이게 볼륨 살리기가 조금 저 여기 맨날 죽어 있어서 My roommate bought this for me. However, 잘 안 돼요. Yes, so let's get to Cat's Pick for today. For today's Cat's Pick, it's a quite serious story because a high school student in Wisconsin in the U.S. killed his parents, allegedly, as part of a larger plot to assassinate U.S. President Donald Trump. So let's get to the clip from NBC News.
Tonight, 17-year-old Nikita Kasip, already charged with the chilling double murder of his Wisconsin parents, now in the FBI's crosshairs for investigators believe plotting to kill President Donald Trump, according to newly unsealed federal court documents. The news stunning the small city of Waukesha.
What's it like to hear that about your neighbor?
It's terrible. I was just so torn by it.
This FBI affidavit saying authorities found in the teen's phone a manifesto calling for the assassination of the President of the United States in order to foment a political revolution and promote white supremacy, along with materials linking him to a neo-Nazi extremist group. Investigators writing Kassup in messages with someone said he planned to use a drone in the attack that would drop a bomb with nuts, bolts, needles, and then flee to Ukraine. The affidavit stating Kassup had paid for, at least in part, a drone and explosives and was communicating with someone with a Ukrainian number. It did not say where or when he allegedly planned to target the president. This after, back in late February, local authorities during a welfare check found the teen's parents shot to death in the family home. The affidavit saying the couple had been dead for roughly 2 weeks and Kassup living in the home with their bodies, then fleeing before he was arrested in Kansas. Investigators writing the killing of his parents appeared to be an effort to obtain the financial means and autonomy necessary to carry out his plan.
That's right. We reached out to the White House for comment. We have yet to hear back. This, of course, after multiple attempts on the president's life last year. Kassup's attorney, for what it's worth, also not responding to our request for comment. He, the teenager in this case, has yet to enter a plea in the murder case tied to those state charges. At the same time, this affidavit indicating multiple federal charges could be coming tied to this now foiled assassination plot.
So once again, a teenager, 17 years old, charged with the killing of his mother and stepfather, trying to get, I guess, finances rolling to plot this assassination against sitting President Donald Trump. The good news is in this terrible tragedy that obviously they were able to arrest him. So this was Cat's Pick for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for Sports Insider. We have Andrew in the house. Good morning.
Sorry, I was just getting some last-minute updates.
Really? On
yes. What's for lunch? No, just joking.
Hey, text topic.
All right.
Ready?
Hey, answer time.
Ready. Okay. What is like a must-have item at work or at home that kind of helps you boost your efficiency?
Oh.
Some people have talked about like the ergonomically, cool, like, I don't know, the mouse pads.
Oh, no, I don't care about that.
Oh, you don't care about that?
No, those are, no. Not, I
yeah.
guess maybe if it magically appeared on my desk and then somebody took it away, then maybe I would remember it or something.
Yeah.
But
not really?
No, yeah. I don't know. Well, maybe that's my issue. Maybe I need a new chair for my posture or something like that. But what do I need? Is just at home or at work?
Whatever to help you. Some people have mentioned chocolate to get them through the day. Some people have mentioned a standing desk.
I've tried standing desks.
And what did you think?
I enjoyed it, but I found I don't know, I would tend to dance. I would, because I do enjoy having music on.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So if I'm working or whatnot, especially if I'm at home. But food, I feel, other than like coffee or something like that, I feel that it would be a distraction because if it's there,
yes,
I'll want it. If it was in the other room where I can't see it, I'm just like, it's not a big deal. So I don't know if there's something I need. I would say I do like nice pens or stationery, that kind of stuff. I feel like, I'll want to use it more.
Yes.
Those kind of things. But I don't know. I'll be sentimental here and say picture of the family on the desk.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Maybe.
So
I don't know.
fake, but it's okay. We'll take it. We'll take it. Where are we starting today for...
Who's lying today? I don't know.
Andrew.
Yes.
Yes. What do you have for us today?
Well, there's only one place to start this week.
That's right.
And we're going to get to a clip. This is from, I believe, NBC. Yeah.
Look at the long shadows. Symbolic at this moment of the journey it's taken to get here for all this history.
The long journey is over. McElroy has his masterpiece.
Okay, so he got this color, similar, not the same.
Yeah.
His jacket, finally.
Yeah, exactly. From the Masters. Now, it's really funny how you just showed this cup because it made me think, so we'll get to this in a second. So Rory McIlroy won the Masters.
By the way.
But something that really intrigued me about the Masters, and I had some friends who were down there last year. They went last year. They didn't make the trip this year.
Yes.
But is when you go to a sporting event, obviously the tickets are quite expensive.
Yes.
But what is the next most expensive thing?
I don't know.
Concessions. Concessions for listeners who might be unaware. Right? This is amazing. So when we say concessions, we're talking about food or drinks you're buying. When you go to the Masters at Augusta National, it is unbelievable the prices.
I saw the menu.
Egg salad sandwiches, pimento cheese sandwiches, these kind of things, they're like $1.50.
Like how?
$2. All right?
How?
And they've been those prices forever.
Right.
It's funny. It's like domestic beer, $5. Imported beer, $5. And then they have a cocktail that they make for it, kind of just like the U.S. Open in tennis, like that kind of stuff. It's like $6. You know, it's amazing. So like you see people there, nobody tries to sneak stuff in. Nobody does that.
They don't need to.
And they're not allowed to have cell phones there either.
I love that.
Which is beautiful.
Because, you know, like at every sporting event, every concert, you know, everybody's doing this.
Yes, exactly.
They're not watching the event. They're filming it.
Yeah, guess what? If it's an event that says no cell phones, there's going to be enough TV cameras that you're going to catch something when you get home.
Yes.
So it'd be all right. So yes, Rory McIlroy has etched his name into golfing history by winning the 2025 Masters in a dramatic playoff against Justin Rose, who also just had, if you want to call it a roller coaster week, Justin Rose was at the front of the coaster and he viewed it all. McIlroy completes the elusive career Grand Slam. Now, the Northern Irishman, who had been chasing this milestone for over a decade.
Right.
Now, there's also plenty of other golfers who've been doing the same. He's not alone in that one, all right? So he, after losing a 4-shot lead on the back nine and bogeying the 18th hole to force a playoff, I don't know, I watched it live and I was thinking, I saw the 18th and I thought, oh no.
I know.
Not this.
Not again.
Not this again, right?
Yeah.
So on the first playoff hole, he struck a stunning approach shot, but actually I saw Justin Rose's approach shot and I thought, ooh, that's going to be tough. Like to beat.
Right.
And then McIlroy was like, hold my $5 beer and I'll stick this within 2.5 feet.
Yeah.
And then he ended up putting it in, and he joins. He's the 6th golfer in history to achieve the Grand Slam, which means winning all of the majors, joining legends such as Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. So at 35 years old, I thought he was a little bit older than this. I was thinking,
I thought he was like...
Yeah, well, since he cut off his like longish hair, and then he's showing the gray, but maybe not winning, this Grand Slam was giving him the gray, I guess. Maybe. So McIlroy's triumph marks his 5th major title and his first since 2014. So, I mean, it's been over 11 years since he's, won a major. That's a long time for somebody who is as touted as he was at a young age, right? But, just keep going at it. So he expressed his immense pride and release, saying, there were points in my career where I didn't know if I would ever have this jacket over my shoulders. And then, everyone was losing their minds. And it's funny, people were like, oh, I think he was $4.3 million, but he's going to get taxed on that, so he's going to probably lose a big chunk of it. But people were like, who cares about the money? He doesn't. All he cares about is that jacket, which is
the green jacket.
And it really was interesting for golfers or non-golf fans out there wondering what's the prestige about winning the Masters? It's just another tournament.
Yes.
It gets you into this very exclusive club.
Oh, yeah.
And there's parts of the country club that you're not allowed in unless you've won the Masters.
Yes, unless you become champion for whatever year.
Yes.
You're allowed into kind of like the in crowd, that special
you have your own
locker room.
Yeah,
right.
He went in there for the first time. The video shows him going in. He's like, I get it. I understand. Like, this is unreal. You also get to go to these dinners. You're also exempt from, you
qualifying,
get
right?
for the Masters for the rest of your life.
Right. And then for 5 years for all the other majors.
Yeah. which is
I mean, hello.
pretty unbelievable.
There's a reason. Of course, money is good too.
Yeah, so congrats to him and and commiserations to Justin Rose because
absolutely
that's his second major in a row coming in second.
Yes.
So.
Well, let's move on to some baseball. Do we have some good? Oh, by the way, yes, that's him, Scotty Scheffler putting on the jacket. Look how happy he looks. Oh. The pose, like I finally have it on. Love it.
Lightest jacket you ever put on in your life.
I'm sure. Do we have some good news from the Giants?
Yes, we do. Now,
we need some good news.
It was interesting, and I meant to say this last week because, it's rare for teams to have like a 6-game homestead.
Yes.
And the Giants were at home on last week, midweek, against Busan, and then they welcomed the NC Dinos to town on the weekend. Now, this game was played at Sajak because of what went on at the NC Dinos Stadium in Changwon.
Yes.
So they were still doing investigations, checks to make sure everything was okay. Sure. And that's why if anybody was watching the game like me and my kids, and we were like, wait a minute, the game should be over because Lotte should bat last at the bottom of the inning, but they were hitting for the top of the inning, and we didn't even realize until like the game was almost over. So that's why. So they did that, so they were able to, and then later in the season they'll play a series out there instead of here at Sajak.
Of course, understandable.
Something to look for in the future if you're wondering, why are they playing like that? So the Lotte Giants faced off against the NC Dinos, as I said, over the weekend, and it was absolutely thrilling. Now, in the first game, Lotte emerged victorious in, I love this, the Nakdong River Derby. All right? It's pretty funny. All right? So,
who comes up with these names?
Hey, there you go. A 7-5 win. The Giants capitalized on early scoring opportunities, taking a 4-0 lead in the first inning, thanks to some timely hits. And, NC did make a comeback, but the Lotte's bullpen held on firm, and Park Se-young got his third win of the season out of 4, which is a much better start than last year.
Sure.
And maybe getting back to his old self, which is definitely needed. And then on Saturday, it was Lotte again, coming out of the gates, and it was looking really good. And then it was like the rain was there.
Right.
It was like, are they going to get in enough innings? Because that's important.
Yeah.
And Lotte was winning 2-0, and then they got in the innings and they called the game. So in the 8th, which was good. So Lotte bagged another win. But then on Sunday, NC bounced back with a 9-6 victory to avoid a sweep. Now, Lotte, again in this game, they were up 5-0 in the first inning. And then NC scored 2 and then 4, and then it was just kind of like they hung on for the rest of it. But the Giants are back in action tonight at Sajak. So this would be 9 games in a row at the end of this run.
Right.
They welcome the Kiom Heroes, who occupy the basement of the KBO at this point in time. And after a decent weekend, Lotte move up to 5th spot in the standings. That was genuine surprise on
and
your
happiness.
face.
5등 좋아요. I mean, that
was great. That was great.
It was so sincere, right?
I need to clip that. That's got to be a short for sure.
I was sincerely happy.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about another Giants franchise, but this one across the pond in San Francisco. Oh, no, William, are you not here today? William.
Oh, sorry, William.
We're going to talk about your favorite.
Yeah, we just got to, quick, we only got a minute here or so, but we have to talk about Lee Jung-woo because he is on fire with the San Francisco Giants right now. His season was cut short last year when he went over and he made that catch where he slammed into the wall and he had to have surgery. They thought he might be back for the end of the season. Good enough. They didn't rush it. They waited. He's coming back. He's putting some of those doubters, to bed, saying like, hey, I'm making this switch from the KBO. I'm going to continue what's going on.
Sure.
Delivered a standout performances, and he propelled his team to an impressive start. But this past weekend, they won the series against the Yankees, and he had in this 3-game series, he had 3 home runs. 2 of them were in the final game on Sunday.
Wow.
It was pretty amazing. Also, he leads the MLB in doubles at this present time.
Ooh.
He's batting .352 with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. I think, this is great for him. Also, I'm sure his confidence was probably a bit shaken after, last season. He didn't get the rust off and then does it what he needed to do over the winter, comes prepared, and
so happy.
Last little bit, Liverpool, 2 wins away. Let's go, boys.
All right. Calm down. No,
Yes.
I'm happy for you.
We'll be back next week with some information on the NHL playoffs.
Oh, you're coming back for the new season?
There's a new season. Nobody told me about the new season. Does that mean?
Andrew coming back?
Dun, dun, dun.
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week. Same bad channel. Same bad maybe time?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right, have a good one.
Bye. Yes, so you're going to have to tune in next week to see dun dun dun. Is Andrew coming back? We're going to end it with this one, 유리구슬 by 여자친구 as requested by Benny. I'll be back at 8.
쉽게 깨지진 않을 거야. 사랑해 너만은 변하지 않도록 영원히 널 비춰줄게. 내가 약해 보였나요? 언제나 걱정됐나요? 달빛에 반짝이는 저 이슬처럼 사라질 것만 같나요? 불안해 마요. 꿈만 같나요? 널 위해서 빛나고 있어. 너희는 그대 손을 꽉 잡아줄게요. 따스히 감싸줄게요. 투명한 유리구슬처럼 보이지만 그렇게 쉽게 깨지진 않을 거야. 사랑해 너만은 변하지 않도록 영원히 널 비춰줄게. 못 이룰 것 없어요. 그대만 있어준다면 어두웠던 마음 속에 밝은 햇살을 비춰줘. 언제까지나 oh yeah. 두근거리는 심장 소리에
Your bridge to the world. BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재, 미래가 공존하는 항구도시 부산. 이곳 부산은 계절을 물들이는 다양한 축제로 늘 풍성합니다. 봄의 시작을 알리는 봄꽃 축제부터 부산의 여름을 만끽하는 바다 축제, 전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제와 새로운 시작의 해맞이 축제까지. 부산의 축제는 우리의 열정을 가득 담고 있습니다. 바쁜 일상은 잠시 뒤로 하고 특별한 시간을 선물 받는 바로 이곳 부산에서 우리의 삶은 축제가 됩니다. 축제로 하나 되는 부산, 여러분은 어떤 축제를 기다리시나요? 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 BFM 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Did you know that an average person in South Korea uses more than 10 kilograms of disposable products a year? While convenient, it does weigh heavily on the environment as they take up to 500 years to break down. Here is how we can cut down on disposable products. First, use tumblers and mugs instead of plastic or paper cups. When you go grocery shopping, bring a reusable bag so you won't have to ask for a plastic one. At home, instead of reaching for single-use paper towels or wet wipes, use rags and towels. These small steps for the environment can have a big impact on planet Earth. This campaign was brought to you by BEFM Busan 영어 방송.
김밥가게 박 사장님도, 문구점 김 사장님도, 우리 부산의 경제를 움직이는 사람들. 우리 동네 작은 가게로 향하는 발걸음이 우리 부산의 경제를 키워가는 한 걸음입니다. 부산 방송광고 발전 협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Good morning, Dynamic Busan.
Yeah, you're waking up. Time to shake it up. Tell the world good morning and find out what's going on.
Well, hi there, folks. There's everything from comedy to lively chat to music.
Broadcasting from a room about the size of your closet.
All calls are recorded.
What show is this?
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
I'm sorry, who'd you say you were?
It's now 8 o'clock. It's time for news highlights. Yoon denies insurrection charges in first hearing. Former President Yoon Suk-yeol defended himself during his first criminal trial on insurrection charges yesterday, saying his attempt to impose martial law in December did not amount to insurrection. Attending the hearing as witnesses, 2 military officers involved in the martial law operations affirmed that they received orders from their superiors to enter the National Assembly to drag out lawmakers during the short-lived martial law period, which Yoon denied. The prosecution cited the former president's views of state affairs and his preparations in the run-up to the martial law declaration that he intended to start a riot with the aim of subverting the Constitution. Han Duck-soo vows to complete final mission amid presidential speculation. Acting President Han Duck-soo said yesterday that he will fulfill his final calling by tackling the U.S. tariff crisis, apparently dismissing rumors of a presidential bid but not denying them outright. Han has emerged as a possible contender in the June 3rd presidential election, his name having appeared in a recent public opinion poll for the first time. In the meantime, Han said that U.S. President Donald Trump apparently instructed his White House aides to conduct immediate tariff negotiations with South Korea, Japan, and India following their phone call last week. Han also said he expects Korea-U.S. bilateral talks over the Alaska Liquefied Natural Gas or LNG project. Two Air Force unit commanders booked over accidental jet bombing. Two Air Force unit commanders have been booked in relation to an unprecedented mistaken bombing on a civilian town last month. That's according to the Defense Ministry's interim probe results. On March 6th, 2 KF-16 fighter jets dropped 8 Mk-82 bombs outside a training range in Pocheon, injuring 52 people, including 38 civilians. The two pilots, who are alleged to have erroneously entered the target coordinates prior to the live fire drills, have been booked over charges of professional negligence resulting in injury and damaging military facilities. Search ongoing for missing worker at Gwangmyeong Road collapse site. The search for the worker who fell into the sinkhole at a subway construction site in Gwangmyeong City continues into the 5th day, as evacuation has been ordered for nearby residents. The authorities said they've been unable to pin down the exact location of the missing worker, a man in his 50s, and have not been able to get through the rubble. In the meantime, the Land Ministry and Gwangyang City issued an emergency evacuation order for the residents in the 50-meter perimeter of the accident site amid concerns of additional collapse. Trump hints at further cuts for auto parts tariffs. U.S. President Donald Trump said he is looking at something to help some automotive companies during a meeting with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele at the White House, noting that car companies need a bit of time to make their parts in the U.S. In the meantime, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that South Korea, the UK, Australia, India, and Japan are the top targets for trade negotiations, and revealed that trade talks with South Korea will take place next week, emphasizing a first-mover advantage. The Commerce Department also said that the U.S. has begun investigations into imports of semiconductors and chip-making equipment, as well as pharmaceuticals. This was News Highlights. It's time for Wagle. Haley's back.
It's the Jacket Sisters.
Yes.
The Blazer Sisters.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, for our first story, we're going to talk about Trump's tariffs that are not only hitting imports of foreign-made goods to the U.S., but also the flow of travelers into the U.S. as well.
Right. So these anti-American sentiments or even fear may be growing due to the extent, that the U.S. is seeing a drop in travelers. So this is a report by the Financial Times. They reported the number of foreign tourists who spent at least one night in the U.S. in the month of March decreased by 12% compared to the same time last year. This, by the way, is the biggest drop since March of 2021, which is smack in the middle of the COVID pandemic.
Right.
So there were also notable drops in travelers from Western Europe, including Ireland, Norway, and Germany by over 20%. And one travel reservation site CEO said that the cancellation from the UK on their site, UK, Germany, and France reached 40%.
So what are the main reasons?
Right. So first, it has to do with the Trump administration's staunch immigration policy.
Okay.
Because we have reported on and we keep hearing about the news of travelers being detained at the border. And as our experts said, I believe, was it earlier this week, last week, that, Border Patrol agents could always search your phones.
Yes.
But they're just doing it more so now, or your laptops and other electronic devices.
Yes.
So, quote unquote, bad word of mouth is spreading about traveling or possible border and port issues in the United States.
Okay.
And this is according to a CEO of a French hotel chain. Another travel platform CEO, so again, the reports are citing of those within the industry, saying that this is a huge hit for American economy. By the way, 2.5% of the U.S. economy is dependent upon the travel industry. And these anti-American sentiments are even greater in China, where you can see, obviously, tariffs are a main reason. So one institute for developers, for software and hardware developers, notified their U.S. customers that this Chinese company will impose a 1,250% surcharge on American customers.
Yes.
To pay them back in tenfold. Obviously alluding to the tariff.
I see.
And then one local jeweler in China said that they're charging 104% surcharge to service fees to Americans. One auto mechanic in another region saying that they're taking 100% surcharge on any and all American vehicles. This is, of course, voluntary on part of the business owners and citizens, but Beijing, the Chinese government, may be indirectly encouraging these sentiments. And again, citing reports here, because the Chinese government has ordered its citizens to refrain from studying abroad or traveling in the United States and said that it'll gradually phase out import of American movies.
So yes, this is far-reaching. These tariffs and the ramifications, right? Even on a personal level.
Right.
Well, up next, we love, all-you-can-eat type of restaurants, right? What do they call it? Like 무한리필. But some people are apparently exploiting the system.
Right. So do you go often?
I'll be honest,
or all you can
not
eat?
often.
Right.
Not often because some members, they don't do their duty.
They don't pull their weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not
That's
often.
the thing, because a lot of us, I think in my family, it's after we've reached a certain age and maybe stomach size and stomach tolerance, we're it feels just uncomfortable if you overeat. That's why we don't go. But if you know that about yourself, don't go.
Right.
Is the lesson of this story.
Yes.
So one major bakery franchise has opened a bread and pastry all-you-can-eat in their Gangnam and Apgujeong branches. But it's kind of becoming a hotbed for food waste, which we don't like to see. So the brand is Tulejur. It rebranded its Gangnam and Apgujeong branches, and it's running an event where you pay 9,900 won, so that's like under $10, so under 10,000, for one drink and all-you-can-eat bread and pastries for 1 hour, I believe. And they have a limit. They have first 90 people for Gangnam branch and 50 for Apgujeong during a set period in the morning. But this has led to people just like piling, forming mountains of bread on their plates, and basically taking one bite, they're sampling, and then they're done.
Is that a photo?
That is the photo of the return area. That's not like someone's table. That is the return area. So several YouTubers have pointed it out, and we've credited them on our YouTube page, saying that the sense of awareness on the part of the customers is astounding. It's alarming. In another video, you see what you just saw, about 8 plates on the return counter with about 20 breads and pastries, all of them maximum of a bite or two bitten out of it. Yeah, so this has raised an issue, and it's not just about that particular site.
Sure.
It's about other all-you-can-eat places. Some places will say in giant block letters, we will charge you kind of an environment charge if you don't finish your food. It's called 환경부담금. So, concerns are arising about the economy, the environmental impacts of that much food waste. And
That's so
is
true,
that
though.
advisable? Is that something that should be implemented across the board? Also comments on the ethical, moral side.
Yes.
Remember when your mom or dad, when you had like little grains of rice left on your bowl, like those are hard work, blood, sweat, and tears of farmers. You have to eat every single drop. It's also bakers, farmers, bakers. People actually put in work to create
That's
that.
True.
Why would you take a bite and throw it away?
Right. Anytime we go to an all-you-can-eat kind of place, and lately it's only like the shabu place because we love
Those
the veggies.
have been popping up. Right.
And then like I am like so stringent.
Right.
Only bring what to our table what you personally can finish.
Exactly.
Is my rule, because
my thing when we go to those places, I will be the designated like food getter, food fetcher, because I will kind of like portion control and see this seems like our last plate, so I'll bring a little less.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's not waste food.
All right, up next. This workplace dispute has netizens divided as well, so let's get into it. So what's the scenario? What's going on?
Okay, I want to ask our waivers. Imagine it's your payday. Is it our payday? Not yet.
오늘
Okay.
며칠이죠?
It's not. I don't know. I don't know. Not. Nope.
며칠, like just a few days ago.
That money's gone though.
Yes.
Imagine it's your payday.
스쳐 지나갔어.
Bye. And say you get your pay usually in by 10 a.m. At what point do you grow concerned or contact your pay person or your coworker like, hey, at what point? Say it's 10 a.m. is usual time. If your money hasn't come in, 10시에 월급이 보통 들어오는데 몇 시까지, 이제 몇 시부터 걱정이 되기 시작하시나요?
I've personally texted each other like at 4 p.m. like
4 p.m. It's like lunchtime, and it's like, hey, what's with their pay? Are we not getting paid?
No, I texted you in the afternoon.
Probably. I probably texted you during lunchtime. Like, what's going on?
Did you get paid?
I have bills to pay. I have stuff to buy. Anyways, the point is people get sensitive about their pay.
Oh, yeah.
So this is one online community post over whether what's happening is the right way to respond to a delayed payment. So it's titled MZ part-timer, MZ 알바생, tells me to break my savings bond to pay them. 적금 깨서 돈 달라고 합니다. So this was written by a business owner on the social media platform Threads, saying that the owner has a cash shortage. So I suppose the part-time worker is leaving the job. They couldn't pay the part-time worker their wage and severance all at once. 한꺼번에 월급과 마지막 월급과 퇴직금을 못 준다고 했습니다. 그래서 할부로 줄 수 있냐고 물어봤다네요. So he or she asked them if they can pay in installments, which unconventional. What would you say? Waivers, what would you say? Our 물결이들, we have a new name. Cool. The worker's response, 적금 없으세요? Don't you have a savings bond?
Yeah.
Break that. Or pay your kids' academy fees later and pay me first. I'm going to read the Korean part. 적금 든 거 없으세요? 적금 깨서 주세요. 아니면 애들 학원비는 후불로 하고 저한테 먼저 주세요. So the owner was hurt, acknowledged that this was their fault in the beginning, but felt that the response was a bit too much.
Right, and I definitely want to know what our waivers were thinking, and we're getting some responses.
Oh, are we?
Well, at least like to the whole you mentioned, like at what point do you get nervous? So we have a couple. Like
I like souvenir.
Okay, so we have souvenir name who says like 들어오기 전부터 걱정되는 거 아닌가요?
That's true.
고수님, 11시부터요. Ooh, and then we have like Doyle. I love this. 9 a.m. to tell the wife how much this month.
Is this like reverse Little Prince? Like if you come at 3, I'll start to get, nervous from 2 noon, 9 a.m.
도요님. Thumbs up for you.
Interesting.
Yes. So how did the netizens respond to this story?
A lot of the netizens, maybe it's like the age group of that particular platform, criticize the owner. Right. So I'm saying that the owner crossed the line first and that there's a possibility that this actually paying your severance pay or wages in installments may be a violation of the Labor Standards Act. And it's not a matter of MZ or any other generation. Pay your people on time. But this has a happy ending, though, because the owner later posted that they've used this as a chance to self-reflect. They've learned a lot from this experience and they paid the worker in full. So it's actually really nice when online altercations lead to people actually changing their mind.
Yes.
And that does not happen often.
And that you're actually sharing that change of mind.
Right. Because the gut reaction is that you could get defensive. And you could be like, what do you know? You're all bleep, bleeps. But this person didn't. So good on you.
As souvenir, they think 일을 시켰으면 돈을 줘야 하니 저는 월급은 줘야 한다고 봅니다. No, so we get the sentiment. Of course, that worker was due severance pay. Deserved it. And so
was that the best response? Was that the absolute Miss Manners approved response? Probably not.
But still, what's due is due.
We could all take lessons from this.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Our final story is definitely connected to our text topic. Apparently, there's a new office trend among younger workers. What is it?
Not just any old keyboard, but mechanical keyboards. 기계식 키보드.
Like,
and you're like, are these not? No, lady,
like
not
chicken. Lady. What do you mean 기계식? What do you mean by that?
So these are, what are the differences between your regular keyboards and mechanical keyboards?
Yes.
So mechanical keyboards have individual mechanical switches for every single key, instead of them being all one. So if you look, I have a photo, Exhibit A, thanks to my friend and I think that's her husband's gaming keyboard. It is individually connected.
I see.
So it has, it's more tactile and it's more responsive. So it has a more satisfying typing experience. Gamers, I believe they prefer this because it has a faster response as well. Please note that this is not an advertisement because other people, maybe including myself, I just don't see the difference. I don't really get it. But so some of you might wonder, that's good money. That's good money on it. Why would you spend money? Well, customization, stress relief, because why not is also the point. So I've asked my friends, it's like, do you guys have like customized like gaming keyboards, or at office, do you have your individual keyboards? A lot of people do. So we're going to throw up some. That's my other friend's little office space.
That's
and she has
cute,
like little figures. He is obviously a gamer with the gigantic.
How can you tell?
I don't know. With the gigantic monitor, the computer.
Look at the snacks.
And everything, and the snacks and the coffee.
Right.
So According to one IT YouTuber, a keyboard is almost like an extension of your hands. Because if you think about it, an average office worker, you're working for about 10 hours per day, searching, calculating, I like this, apologizing, 사과하고, reporting, typing, etc. So some people just do enjoy that tactile aspect.
Yes.
Keyboard shops are doing really well, apparently. And this is especially in person because people want to feel out what the touch is like. But I do want to highlight this BBC coverage years ago about South Korean corporate culture of desk-terior, decorating your desk.
Sure.
And how that's South Korea's reflection of South Koreans coping with their long hours by customizing and decorating their desks. And this might be a little bit of an extension. And that's why I borrowed our coworkers' little stuffed animals, blankets, flowers, and whatnot. So that's the trend.
Yes. And we have a message from TV 제리님. 엔터키만 엄청 큰 키보다가 키보드 보다가 있대요. the enter key 엄청 큰 거 직장인들 주먹으로.
So it's like a slammer.
Oh, for the
slam
enter
on it.
key.
Oh,
Like is this like when you're kind of mad or angry? Like you have to send a report. Bam.
That bang.
Like it. 조피디님 again. Bam. We will enjoy the last few days with her. Yes. Well, thank you for going over all the Woggly news, and we'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right. Now it's back to you, the waivers. It's time for updated traffic and weather. It's time for your updated traffic right now. There was an accident on the Namhae Expressway in the Suncheon direction, about 1 kilometer before the Changwon ramp. It's been cleared, but there is backup because of this. There's congestion on Yeonsuro between Mangmi intersection and Suyong intersection in both directions. Likewise, traffic on Jungangdaero from Chwacheon Three-Way intersection to Busan Jin Station. And it's looking slow on Chungnyeoldaero from Minam intersection to Manduk Tunnel number 2. Currently, it is 7 degrees here in Busan. It's going to go up to 16 today. Across the nation, there are big temperature differences between the morning low and afternoon high. And light rain expected in the Jeonnam regions, at least for the morning. This was your traffic and weather. How about this one, Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon.
My discotheque, Juliet, teenage dream. I felt it in my chest as she looked at me. I knew we were bound to be together, bound to be together. She took my arm, I don't know how it happened. We took the floor and she said, oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said, you're holding back. She said, shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said, ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me.
That was a stress reliever, was it not? Yes. So our text topic, your response to the text topic, because I asked you, what are some of the must-have items at work or at home that boost your efficiency? So looking at some of your messages, we have, this one, 가보자고님, who says, I can't say the brand name, but 땡, hazelnut coffee ball, cheap and tasty. And they like their standing desk. I've always wanted one. 저도 여기 모닝 진행하면서요. Oh, my butt gets numb. Because we usually do a test call for the special interview. It's like, so I don't really have time to get up and stretch. So I wish we had a standing desk. That would be awesome. I would so go for that. Of course, yeah, they're going to say no. But anyhow, we can only dream, right? Also, other people, their, must-have items at work. Once again, some people are mentioning snacks, like chocolate, like I mentioned earlier. Also, so for certain people, Leslie, a USB-C adapter that connects 2 additional external monitors, keyboard, and a mouse to my laptop. Ooh, that's for physical efficiency, she says. And for emotional efficiency, she writes Jimin photo cards, a notebook, my cell phone, and yes, my cat, as she says. So indeed, whatever helps us get through the day efficiently and also with a happy heart, I think is all good. Now we're going to get to our special interview. I'll be back in just a moment. Meta. That's the company behind Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. And Meta is now facing a major antitrust trial in the United States. The government argues that Meta uses its power to basically crush competition, to stifle it, and keep control of the social media market. If Meta loses, this might lead to, some people say, selling off of Instagram and WhatsApp. So this is a huge case. This is a big tech company. So we definitely want to hear the details on this. We have invited Professor Keith Hylton, who's the William Fairfield Warren Distinguished Professor of Boston University and Professor of Law at Boston University School of Law. Let's see what he has to say. Hi, welcome to our program.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours, Professor. I'm very curious, Professor, from a legal standpoint, what makes the FTC's antitrust case against Meta so significant right now?
Well, it's mostly an ordinary attack on a merger. I suppose the one thing that makes it interesting is that the merger had been approved years before. I mean, in fact, both of the mergers that are involved, the acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp had been approved years before. And so now the agencies are turning around and attacking the same mergers that they had approved earlier. So that's one interesting feature. But, attacks on mergers are nothing new. I mean, the government brings a fair number of them every year. I suppose, it's the change in policy that's probably the most interesting thing about it.
Yes, well, I guess so. Some of us might not understand. So you're saying that the government approved the mergers previously, but now is it because it's a different under a different government, or the policies have changed? I don't quite understand why there's a change in sentiment.
That's a good question, and I think we'll have to find that out. I mean, to some degree, presidential administrations react to public sentiment. And public sentiment has changed in connection to the tech industry in the U.S. And so I'm pretty sure public sentiment has something to do with the fact that right now the U.S. antitrust agencies have major enforcement actions, litigation going against, I think, all of the major, almost all of the major tech companies right now.
Yes.
So I think part of it is just a change in public sentiment. I mean, and while this trial is being launched, at the same time, Meta or Facebook is undergoing some pretty harsh questioning in front of the U.S. Senate over a different issue.
Yes.
And the questioning that Meta is undergoing in the U.S. Senate is also reflective of the change in public sentiment toward the tech industry in general, and especially toward Facebook. So maybe that has something to do with the change in policy, that it certainly, political support has something to do with, has some effect on the likelihood of these antitrust enforcement actions. I'm sorry to say that makes it sound as if the enforcement decisions are political. I don't think I would go to the point of saying that they are thoroughly political. I would say that politics does have some effect on those enforcement decisions. And so maybe that's the reason why we're seeing a change in policy. Otherwise I would have to scratch my head and figure out exactly why we're seeing this change in policy. What's going on here? I suppose you could give a straight up answer from the FTC's perspective that would say, well, we changed our minds, that or we made mistakes the first time around. In fact, I think that's what they're saying. They're saying that Facebook, didn't disclose all of the information they should have during the first reviews. Now they have more information, so now they have a firmer basis for attacking and trying to undo these mergers that they had approved earlier. I think that's the FTC's explanation.
And in cases like this, I know each individual case is different. How easy or difficult is it for, in this case, the government or government agencies to prove their case? I mean, is there a high likelihood that the government or the governmental agency will win?
That's hard to predict. It depends on the judge. It depends on what kind of evidence comes to court. I wouldn't try to make a prediction myself.
Okay.
There's some factors that would lean in favor of the FTC. For example, the FTC likes to show evidence that there's a high degree of market concentration. That means that there are very few competitors at the time the merger took place, and that the merger resulted in an increase in concentration. And I would assume, depending on how the market is defined, the FTC will be able to meet that threshold, meet that requirement pretty easily. And so it'll largely depend on the quality of the defenses that Meta is able to offer.
Yes.
For maintaining the acquisition. And I could speculate on that, but I don't know exactly. I've heard a little bit about what their defenses will be, but that all remains to be seen. So it's hard to judge that in the abstract how likely they are to win. I'm reluctant to make a prediction.
Sure. So, Professor, if, let's say, the government is successful and, let's say, Meta loses, then would it then, is it foreseeable at all to see whether it's going to be forced to sell off Instagram or WhatsApp?
Well, that's what the government will ask for. At least that's what all newspaper reports say, that the government will ask Meta to spin off Instagram and spin off WhatsApp. And let's suppose that happens. Well, then we'll have Instagram and WhatsApp as independent firms, independent companies. And the result of that, depends on a lot of factors. I suppose it depends on to some extent, how strong Meta's argument is about the need to keep these two businesses as part of the larger organization. And I think Meta's argument would come down to efficiencies, that there are enormous efficiencies from having these companies all under one roof, that to some extent they're using the same engineers and the same technologies, and innovations that might develop for one could be used for another. I think those would be the types of arguments they would make for why it's desirable to keep it all under one roof. So we'll have to see because if those arguments are correct, then yes, there will be some loss in quality if the company is split up. But again, in the tech sector, it's hard to predict. The tech sector changes a fair amount. I mean, that's the nature of the sector, and so it's hard to look at something like this and say, Oh, well, for sure. If they spin off Instagram and they spin off WhatsApp, that's going to be that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a negative in terms of the quality of the technology after the spinoff. We don't know that for sure. It's hard to say. I think I wouldn't be inclined to trust anyone's statement on those issues.
Well, I want your take, if you can. Tell us about your opinion about Meta's argument that, its acquisitions actually helped improve and not harm competition. Do you have any opinions on that?
I do. I will preface my remarks by saying that I spent very little time on the case, and so maybe that's good. I can be an independent, objective person. I'm not involved in the case. So the first question is, when the acquisitions occurred, did they really harm competition? And they would harm competition if you could say that Facebook was in competition with Instagram or in competition with WhatsApp at the time these acquisitions occurred.
Okay.
And that's an open question because Facebook and Instagram, it seems to me, have different audiences. Instagram has younger people and Facebook has had older people for some time.
Sure.
It could be that they're appealing to different audiences for different reasons. People like these things. And it could be the audiences, the consumer group, or at least the median consumer, is quite different, even though there might be some overlap between the two sets of consumers of these two technological services. Same thing about WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a functionally different app, and it could be that they're different appeal to different consumers. If that's the case, then there may have been very little competition between these three technologies at the start. If that's so, then the merger would not have harmed competition much. I think that's an open question. I don't know the answer. That's an empirical question.
Yes.
It's my impression as as just an armchair observer of the industry that Instagram and Facebook were appealing to very different consumers.
Yes.
Facebook would have the parents, and Instagram had the teenagers, and those two didn't want to talk to each other. So
I see.
I don't know if that's still the case, but that was certainly true at the time of the acquisition.
Indeed.
So that's one question. Did the acquisition actually harm competition? I think that's an open question. And then the next question after that is, well, are there efficiencies that would indicate that it's a good thing for these businesses to all stay under one roof? Because the innovations are relatively useful to all three, that the same engineers are doing the same stuff under the same roof. And why are you going to have three different sets of engineers when you can have largely the same set of engineers, working on the same technologies?
Yes.
All three.
Interesting. Well, as we wrap up our discussion today, Professor, what do you want to leave us with? Because I think I speak on behalf of consumers of these types of apps that, well, yes, it is an important case, but ultimately we want to know, how is this going to affect us, the consumers, the people who actually use these apps? So any final thoughts?
Well, again, I'm speaking as an armchair observer from the sideline. And my guess is that there won't be much of an impact largely because I think the tech sector is so innovative that if the spinoff occurred, I think that if Meta is correct that there are enormous efficiencies from having it all under one roof, it would be costlier to replicate the technologies in two different businesses. But that would happen. And the U.S. tech sector is dynamic. And I think that my suspicion is that the effect on the average consumer would be largely unnoticeable.
I see. Yes. Well, of course, we look forward to what happens in this trial, and we will await the outcome. But in the meantime, thank you so much for coming on air with us and explaining this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
This was Professor Keith Hylton once again, and we talked about the latest, Meta with its antitrust trial. This is going on in the United States. So we'll see if there are any major changes to come and whether that's going to affect you and me, the consumers, we who consume these apps. Well, that's to be seen, as the professor says. We're going to take a short song break. So here it is. This is Waiting for Love by Avicii.
Well, there's a will, there's a way, kind of beautiful. And every night has its day, so magical. And if there's love in this life, there's no obstacle that can't be defeated. For every tyrant to tear for the vulnerable. In every loss, all the bones of a miracle. For every dreamer, a dream we're unstoppable. With something to believe in. Monday left me broken. Tuesday I was through with hoping. Wednesday my empty arms were open. Thursday waiting for love, waiting for love. Thank the stars it's Friday. I'm burning like a fire gone wild on Saturday. Guess I won't be coming to church on Sunday. I'll be waiting for love, waiting for love to come around. How did I get so blind and so cynical? If there's love in this life, we're unstoppable. No, we can't be defeated. Monday left me broken. Tuesday I was through with hoping. Wednesday my empty arms were open. Thursday waiting for love, waiting for love. Thank the stars it's Friday. I'm burning like a fire gone wild on Saturday. Guess I won't be coming to church on Sunday. I'll be waiting for love, waiting for love to come around.
Get your local up-to-date news from Korea and abroad right here on Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Stay tuned.
It's time for Bonnie and the Health.
Good morning.
Isn't this our final segment?
Yes,
Aww.
but something new and exciting is coming up.
I was going to kind of live it as a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Is Bonnie coming back next week? Because we did it for Andrew. We're like, dun, 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 dun. You got to wait until next week.
The mystery.
Yeah, whisper. She's coming back. In a different capacity. Maybe not. So what's our final topic? Oh, text topic.
Oh, yes, I'm ready.
What is like your must-have thing at work, at home, to be more efficient, to get your, stuff done?
Okay. My secret to getting everything done,
Is?
going into work mode, are my blue light glasses.
Oh, your blue light glasses. Ooh.
I don't know if they actually make me more efficient, but they make me feel like I'm in work mode. So I will take my computer anywhere I go, or even if I'm at home. Once I put the glasses on, it's like, okay, work mode. And then I'll go into it. So if I don't have the glasses, I don't feel like...
Oh, like you're being efficient.
Yeah, I don't feel as into the work. So I have to have them wherever I go. I feel like empty if I go somewhere with my laptop to work and I don't have them. It doesn't feel right. Wow. So I have to wear them. And also I do think that are better for my eyes when I'm on the computer. Yes. But that's something that I have to have when I'm working.
Oh, so it's like a two for you're getting double benefits.
Yeah, I have a pair everywhere. I have a pair in my bag. I have a pair in my car.
Seriously?
I have a pair at my work computer, my work computer.
You're serious about it.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Okay.
I don't know if it's a style thing or I don't. Yeah.
Well, now we know.
It's like my superhero power.
Ooh. Your blue light glasses. I like.
Yeah, try it.
Well, what's our final topic?
Okay, so we have covered so many different wellness, health, nutrition topics, but I know it's really hard to kind of fit everything in, and I have trouble even doing everything that I talk about in a day. But I wanted to end with this perfect wellness routine. So if I had all the time in the world, what would I fit in? And I wanted this to cover all the things, pretty much all the things that I have covered on this show, so that people can see you can take what you would like to fit into your wellness schedule. And some of these things you might, I don't have time for that. I don't like that. But some things you might be, I think I can do that.
Yes.
Because I believe the trick to being healthy and to have healthy habits is to choose things that are sustainable. Things that you can do all the time. This is why I don't think diets are really great, because people go on diets and then they go off of them and they go back on. You kind of yo-yo back and forth on it. But the trick to wellness is to have stuff that you can fit into your life and do it daily, do it weekly, do it all the time. And that, I think, is the trick to having a healthy routine and optimal health.
All right.
So
we're ready.
Ready? Okay. First thing, of course, when you're waking up, listeners, no harsh alarms. Don't have something that you're waking up to that's like it kind of boosts your cortisol right when you wake up and brings stress onto your life. That's how you're starting your day. So I like to start with a nice soothing sound if you're waking up to an alarm, but better yet, waking up naturally to the sunlight, matching your circadian rhythm. But if you can't do that, maybe I'm sure you wake up when it's dark outside.
Yeah.
Yes. Getting one of those, they have an alarm that is paired with a light that kind of turns on, a bedside light, and it turns on and it mimics the sunlight. So it has you wake up.
That.
Yeah, it has you wake up like you're waking up to the sunshine, even though you're not.
Ooh, I need that.
Yeah, so right when you wake up, making sure it's not a hectic or stressful environment.
Okay.
And then also when you wake up, no screens as soon as you wake up. A lot of people wake up and the first thing they do is check their phone.
Yes.
It kind of brings a big hit of stimulation into your brain, and so you want to kind of ease into that. So starting off the morning with maybe a little bit of stretching, a little meditating, reading, journaling, whatever it might be, something simple that will ease your mind into the day.
So non-screen time.
Yes.
No screens.
Even making yourself a cup of coffee or tea, being in quiet mode, just kind of starting your day in a nice calm setting.
Okay.
That will lead to a productive day.
Doable.
Yes. Next thing I like to do, as soon as I wake up, I coconut pull. I swish a little bit of coconut oil in my mouth, get all that bacteria out, and then I brush my teeth. And then I can drink, my water, coffee, whatever it is. But I always coconut pull. And this, not always, not every day, but throughout the week, maybe 3 to 4 times a week. love this. If you are a morning shower person, the regular shower routine, dry brushing first.
Yes.
So always kind of exfoliating and improves your circulation, and it gets you kind of in that lymphatic massage mode also. And also in the shower, I love to use apple cider vinegar. I know I've talked about this. I did a whole episode on just apple cider vinegar.
Right.
But I like to use it as kind of a natural exfoliation. So if you put apple cider vinegar diluted with water on your skin, wait a little bit, and then if you kind of scrub, so much dirt will come off of you. And I like to use it as a rinse. So it helps to kind of clarify your scalp and also works as like a conditioner because we use a lot of chemicals and different things, products on our hair. So a lot if you're doing hairspray or like tonics, all the different serums and things. So the apple cider vinegar helps to cleanse all of that out. So my secret shower ingredient is apple cider vinegar. Also, if you have eucalyptus, this makes for a really awesome like spa-like experience. Hanging eucalyptus in your shower. Once the steam starts to hit the eucalyptus leaves, the natural oil starts to pull out, and it's like a wonderful smell, really good for boosting your mood and also calming and relaxing your shower. So I like that. Okay, a little bit of potty talk here.
What?
Don't worry, I don't get too nasty
graphic?
here.
Okay.
But I've noticed this. I was on vacation with a couple people last weekend, and I noticed some people don't put the toilet seat down before they flush.
Why?
So if you are one of those people, I'm here to tell you, it's feng shui. I covered this in the feng shui episode to keep the toilet seat down. But also, this isn't even just like a wellness thing. It's just like a sanitary thing.
Yes.
Because so much bacteria comes out of the toilet when you flush it. So if you have a toothbrush or if you have any kind of like facial tools, things that you put on your face, towels, that gets a lot of bacteria over everything. So make sure to keep the toilet seat down when you flush.
Oh, yes. Please
My
do.
PSA.
Yeah, and put the seat down if if you're a guy.
Yes.
Put the seat down.
Yeah, be polite.
Yes.
Okay, after all of the bathroom stuff,
yes,
drinking water, always adding a little bit of lemon, ginger, apple cider vinegar again, or honey to it to start off my day. Then if you're a coffee drinker or some sort of caffeine that I have, I always make my plant-based milk, matcha, mushroom blend or coffee thing in the morning. And this is kind of like a ritual. I really like it. I feel like it's a calming routine that I have. So take your time in doing this. I know some people are really rushed in the morning and you get your coffee delivered or you go out and get it. Try making it at home. Try having it a part of your routine and you might enjoy it a little more. Okay. This is for all of my like glucose or glucose spike aware people out there. Having a protein-packed lunch or breakfast. So I'll tell you what I have. This is almost every morning.
What do you have?
Every morning.
Yes.
A tofu scramble with my veggies that I add in. Sourdough bread. I've covered how great sourdough bread is with you. But always packing or always having your carb with a fat. So a healthy fat. I have vegan butter that I put on my bread or avocado. And extra tip, I've mentioned this several times, putting your mushrooms in the sun before you eat them because it will increase that vitamin D intake. And that is great for people, especially if you are vitamin D deficient, which a lot of women are.
Yes.
Do this. Put the mushrooms in the sun. Next thing, just throughout the day.
Yes.
Drinking lots of water. And tea also counts. And if you're one of those people that hates to just have plain water, spruce up your water a little bit. Maybe lemon, cucumber, adding some fruit in there. Anything that you can put in there that will make it taste yummy so that you will drink more of it. But always lots of water. Increasing those electrolytes that you get. Putting a little bit of lemon, a little bit of sea salt or Himalayan pink salt will increase the electrolytes that you're getting. And then filling up your week with some sort of exercise. So the trick here, my go-tos are like yoga, walking. I hate running, but I'm trying to get better. Strength training of some sort with weights. But the trick is stuff that I like to do, things that I enjoy doing. So people out there that are trying to get into a fitness routine, if you are having to force yourself to get into that gym and doing it, don't do it. Do something that you enjoy. There are so many things out there.
I feel better already. We have time for one more.
Oh, gosh.
And then we gotta let you go.
Okay, so I will say, the last thing I will just leave you with, this goes with all health, fitness things. Do things that make you happy. Happiness is the best trick to a great wellness routine and a healthy life.
Right.
If you want to live a not only long life, but a life filled with fulfilled purpose, I guess.
Yeah, purpose.
Yeah, happiness.
Purpose-
Find the
purpose-driven
things.
life, yeah.
Find the things that make you really happy, bring joy to you. Have a lot of human interactions. Get together with friends a lot, as much as you can, and be around people that also make you very happy.
Yes, and thank you so much for a fantastic season.
Always rushed.
No. I mean, and the fact that so many people, they really loved your segment. And so tune in next week to see Bonnie return. She'll be back.
Dun, dun.
Thank you so much, Bonnie.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it's time to wrap things up for this Tuesday morning and wishing you a wonderful day. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you are sleeping, while you're far away and dreaming. I could spend my life in this sweet surrender. I could stay lost in this moment forever. Every moment spent with you is a moment I treasure. Don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I'd still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Lying close to you, feeling your heart beating, and I'm wondering what you're dreaming, wondering if it's me you're seeing. Then I kiss your eyes and thank God we're together. And I just wanna stay with you in this moment forever, forever and ever. I don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. 'Cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream will never do. I still miss you, baby, and I don't wanna miss a thing. And I don't wanna miss one smile.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재,